In the biblical narrative, the Israelites found themselves oppressed under Egyptian rule. The Egyptians imposed harsh labor seeking to break their spirits and make them submit. Despite their suffering, the Israelites retained hope for salvation, looking towards a divine intervention. Their story is a testament to the enduring human spirit that yearns for freedom and justice. The narrative sets the stage for a dramatic divine intervention that would change their fate. The cries of the Israelites did not go unheard. In James chapter 5, we are reminded that God listens to the cries of the oppressed. Their pleas ascended to heaven, prompting a divine response. God's attentiveness underscores his character as a just and compassionate ruler. It illustrates his willingness to intervene when his people are in distress. This divine response represents hope and deliverance. It reassures believers that God is not indifferent to human suffering. Instead, he is actively involved in the liberation of his people. God's communication with Moses is a pivotal moment in the narrative. In Exodus chapter 2, verse 24 and chapter 3, verses 9 to 10, God reveals his plan to Moses, appointing him as the leader to guide Israel to freedom. This divine conversation highlights God's strategic intervention in human affairs. It also demonstrates his capacity to raise leaders who align with his purpose and plan. Moses, initially reluctant, becomes the chosen instrument of God's will. His encounter with God at the burning bush is symbolic of divine empowerment. God's assurance to Moses reflects his faithfulness and his desire for justice. This communication marks the beginning of a transformative journey for both Moses and the Israelites. By tasking Moses with confronting Pharaoh, God establishes a direct challenge to human authority. This act signifies a power struggle between divine and worldly governance. It underscores the supremacy of God's authority over all earthly rulers, affirming his ultimate control over creation. The dialogue between God and Moses offers insights into the nature of divine calling. It encourages believers to remain open to God's voice in their lives. It also highlights the importance of obedience and faith in responding to God's call, trusting that his plans will lead to liberation and justice. God's protection of Israel from slavery is a recurring theme in the Bible. Scriptures such as Deuteronomy chapter 15, verses 12 to 15, and Exodus chapter 22, verse 21, emphasize the importance of liberation and justice. These passages reflect God's desire for his people to live in freedom away from the chains of oppression. They affirm the covenantal promise of deliverance and restoration. God's laws provided safeguards against exploitation, advocating for the fair treatment of all individuals. These divine decrees were intended to prevent the recurrence of injustices like those experienced in Egypt. They serve as a moral compass, guiding societies towards compassion and equity. The emphasis on freedom is echoed in the New Testament, where Christ's mission is described as setting captives free. Verses like Luke chapter 4, verse 18 and John chapter 8, verse 36 underscore the spiritual liberation offered through faith. This liberation transcends physical boundaries, offering a deeper form of freedom rooted in truth and grace. God's protection against slavery is a reminder of his unwavering commitment to justice. It calls believers to uphold these values in their own lives. By embracing God's principles, individuals can contribute to a world where freedom and compassion prevail, reflecting the divine intention for humanity. Let's take a moment to look at contemporary parallels of freedom and control. The biblical accounts of Israel's bondage and liberation have significant parallels in the modern world. Today, individuals and communities similarly grapple with issues of freedom and control. Governments, while necessary, can sometimes overreach, imposing restrictions that infringe upon basic human rights. These dynamics echo the Israelites' struggle against Pharaoh's tyranny. The tension between divine authority and governmental power remains relevant. It challenges believers to discern the legitimacy of earthly authority in light of God's laws. Instances of injustice and oppression prompt a call to action, drawing inspiration from the biblical narrative of liberation. The story of Israel serves as a blueprint for resisting unjust systems. It encourages a proactive stance in advocating for freedom and justice. The principles outlined in Scripture provide a framework for engaging with contemporary issues, offering guidance and wisdom. In navigating these challenges, believers are reminded of the importance of prayer and faith. These spiritual practices anchor individuals amidst societal turmoil. They also reinforce the belief that God's authority transcends human governance, providing hope and direction in uncertain times. How can we learn about embracing God's authority? Embracing God's authority involves recognizing His sovereignty over all creation. The biblical narrative emphasizes that human authority is ultimately subject to God's will. This acknowledgement is crucial for believers as it shapes their understanding of power and governance. It affirms that true justice and freedom are found in alignment with divine principles. The Israelites' story illustrates the transformative impact of divine authority. God's intervention in their liberation highlights His power to bring about change. It serves as a reminder that, despite human limitations, God's plans will prevail. This assurance is a source of comfort and confidence for believers. Embracing God's authority also involves living according to His commandments. Scriptures like Leviticus 19:18 and Matthew 7:12 provide ethical guidance promoting love and justice. These principles are essential for fostering harmonious communities that reflect God's character. Believers are encouraged to seek God's wisdom in all aspects of life. By prioritizing His authority, individuals can navigate complex societal issues with clarity and conviction. This alignment with divine will is foundational for experiencing true freedom and fulfillment. Is there a conflict between Christ and Satan? The conflict between Christ and Satan is a central theme in the Bible. It is vividly described in Isaiah 14:14, where Satan's rebellion against God is recounted. How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High. Ezekiel 28 further elaborates on Satan's pride and eventual downfall. This passage highlights the consequences of exalting oneself above God. The contrast between Christ and Satan is also reflected in the life of Jesus. His teachings and sacrifice directly opposed Satan's influence and power. This ongoing battle continues to inspire believers to seek righteousness and resist evil. Understanding this conflict is essential for navigating contemporary spiritual challenges. It reinforces the belief that Christ's authority is the ultimate measure of truth and justice. By aligning with His will, believers can effectively confront the challenges posed by Satan's influence. Practical tips for Bible study. Studying the Bible is crucial for understanding the dynamics of God's authority and human governance. It provides insights into God's character and His expectations for His people. To deepen this understanding, it is important to approach Scripture with an open and prayerful heart, seeking divine guidance. Begin by selecting relevant passages that explore themes of authority and freedom. Reflect on their historical context and consider their implications for contemporary life. This exploration can uncover timeless truths that inform ethical decision-making and spiritual growth. Engage in group studies to gain diverse perspectives and insights. Discussions with others can enhance understanding and provide new interpretations. It also fosters a sense of community and shared learning, enriching the Bible study experience. Finally, apply the lessons learned to everyday situations. Let the principles of love, justice, and humility guide interactions with others. By living out the teachings of Scripture, believers can embody the transformative power of God's authority in their lives. Finding comfort in God's ultimate authority. The concept of God's ultimate authority is a source of comfort and strength for believers. It reassures them that, despite worldly challenges, God's will is sovereign. This belief provides hope and direction, especially in times of uncertainty and oppression. It affirms that God is actively working to bring about justice and freedom. The narrative of Israel's liberation serves as a powerful reminder of God's faithfulness. It demonstrates his commitment to his people and his ability to overcome any obstacle. This assurance is a cornerstone of faith, offering peace and confidence in God's eternal plan. Believers are encouraged to place their trust in God's authority, recognizing it as the foundation of true freedom. By aligning with his will, they can navigate life's challenges with resilience and grace. This alignment fosters a sense of purpose and fulfillment, rooted in divine love and justice. Ultimately, God's authority transcends human limitations, offering a vision of a world governed by righteousness and compassion. It calls believers to participate in this divine mission, contributing to a society that reflects God's character. This participation is a testament to the transformative power of faith and the enduring promise of God's kingdom.